Thank you so much for joining us. This is our first podcast of our Epereia series on friendship. And today I have with me Isaac Depersig, who's a grade 11 student. Am I saying that right? Depersig?
Depersig, yep.
Depersig? Okay. So I wasn't saying it right. Anyways, I have Isaac here. Let's stick with Isaac. How's that? He's a grade 11 student. He's part of our Epereia leadership program, and he had a chapel talk prepared for us, but because of the COVID-19, he's actually going to be sharing it through a podcast, and we actually have a few other podcast series that we'll be rolling out with, and this one's just on the topic of friendship, and he's going to be focusing on the story of Jonathan and David, which is a really unique kind of friendship that's found in the Bible. And over this next series on friends, we're going to be talking about 3 different friendships in the Bible. And this week we have Isaac sharing on David and Jonathan. So Isaac, what have you been up to since the closure?
I actually was working, doing a house reno, so I have been not too crazy in the house, but still driving my family crazy when I'm not home at night. But yeah, so I've been working, so it's been,
nice. Keeping
been
busy.
okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, man. That's awesome. Well, hey, thanks so much for being willing to sit down and share a bit on friends. So I want to ask you, what's a friend to you? What would you define a friend as?
Yeah, so to me personally, a friend would be someone who supports you like through the thick and the thin, someone who like has a bond with you, like you can connect with, you can talk to, someone who will stick up for you when you're out in the middle of a situation, possibly with someone else, or maybe just within yourself. So yeah, that's my personal definition would be.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's somebody who will go to bat for you, right? And when the rubber hits the road, are they actually there for you? Yeah, no, for sure. Actions speak very loud, especially in a time like this. We get to see who our real friends really are, for sure. So tell us a little bit about the story of David and Jonathan. Could you give us a little bit of backstory, or how did they end up becoming friends?
Yeah, okay, so rolling back to a couple years before they became friends, so Israel wanted a king, pretty much, so Samuel the prophet anointed Saul. Saul had a son, Jonathan, but in the meantime, Saul disobeyed God, and God said, okay, I need to anoint another king for Israel, so he appoints Samuel to anoint David. And then we get the story about David and Goliath, and after that, Saul sees David. He's like, okay, I want you in my army. Clearly, he's just like a top guy. Why wouldn't you? So he joins Saul's army. But the thing is, Jonathan is also an officer in Saul's army. So that's where the friendship comes in. And so that's how they connected. And then as the years roll by, we see them growing stronger and stronger. And then 1 Samuel 18 talks about how they actually built a covenant between the two of them, where the only thing that would stop them from being friends would pretty much be death. And then as Saul continues to see how David prospers, he gets a sense of like almost like jealousy a bit, knowing like, hey, David may take my throne pretty much, so let's get rid of him. And Jonathan knows that, so he warns David. Now, if someone was to do that today, it'd pretty much be a crime, because they're abetting pretty much a criminal escape from the law, because back then the king was the highest law. So Jonathan is really risking, because he knows that he could be put to death if he's found out. And it comes to such a point where there's so much friction between Saul and David that David actually has to leave like the country, and Jonathan and David have to part ways. And it's really a sad moment in their lives, because they've had this great friendship, and now they have to see each other go. Like, they may not know if they ever will see each other again. But it's really cool, because what Jonathan says before they depart is, whatever you want me to do for you, I'll do it. I think that's like the coolest thing like a friend could ever say to someone, is whatever you want me to do, like, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to sacrifice and help you. So that's a bit of the story in a short form, David and Jonathan.
Yeah, talk about sacrificial love, eh? Like I feel like that's a common theme in the Bible, and it's a good story for us to hear in this time and ask ourselves, what can we give up to maybe love on somebody else or support our friends? How can we get behind them in this season. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the just even the whole gospel of laying down your life for a friend.
Yeah, it's like John 15:13 right there. Great love has no man listened to lay one's down his life for one's friend. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, can you relate anything, Isaac, maybe in your life or in your story, um, to this story? Like, have you ever had somebody kind of show that sacrificial love to you, or have you ever done that for somebody else?
Yeah, I've had people showing it to me when last summer I was really struggling with depression, suicidal thoughts, and there's a couple of people who um, came alongside me and was like, "We're here for you. We'll help you get through this." And like, there's one friend I can think of in particular who personally I would never have really thought like he would have done it, and he came and he went through it with me. And now on the other side, he's still there. We're still close friends, and even through the whole experience, I've also had friends that have come out of it and who are also willing. And I know that if I was to again go through struggles like this, that they would be willing to drop anything to come and help me get through the situation. So yeah, that would be someone who would be like a type of friend like David and Jonathan were.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely need people around us to walk us through these situations. And
Yeah,
yeah, I just love the bond, and the word that you used for it was covenant between David and Jonathan. I think that's such a
right.
cool
Yeah,
idea for us in a friendship, to rather than base it around superficial things, base it on something very strong, and base it on a covenant that
yeah.
we got each other's back no matter what. We're going to support each other no matter what.
Mhm.
And that's our promise to each other. That's pretty unheard of in our day and age. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
is
true.
there anything else that you want to just share with the students at Eden, or yeah, with some of maybe your friends? Is there any other thoughts that you have?
Um, Probably as I was preparing these notes, the coolest thing that probably stood out to me was I wrote these three sentences down, and it was talking about a good friend will stick with you through the storms and the sunshine. A good friend will support you when others don't, and a good friend will be willing to sacrifice to help their friend succeed. So if I want like for anything to be taken away from this whole series, well not series, this whole podcast, would be that would be those three sentences, because like that's what personally feel like that's like the greatest type of friend, someone who instead of wanting themselves to succeed will want you to succeed and
Mm-hmm.
to be able to be mentally, spiritually, and physically well. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what a type of good friend that I would be looking for. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
too, our friendships there's no ulterior motive other than that we care for each other and that we're there for each other. That we're not trying to benefit off of one another or use one another for personal gain. It's just a covenant and a
Mhm.
bond that we have each other's back. And yeah, that's such a good truth and such a good word.
It is.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Isaac, for sharing. Next week,
Yeah.
we're going to have Ali Moran sharing on the book of Job and Job's friends. And so I hope you tune into that. We'll be releasing these podcasts weekly, and this is our first episode of our Friends series. That will be a 3-week series, and we hope that you tune in and join us. But yeah, Isaac, I just want to say thanks so much, and yeah, thanks for being a good friend, buddy.
Thank you for having me.